But you know what? Despite the fact that Americans, by and large, do get it and do understand what it's going to take to fight this pandemic and try to save American lives, it turns out that ignorance among our nation's leaders is not a lonely condition. This will today go down in history as the day that everybody from the Lysol company to the U.S. Surgeon General had to try to figure out the responsible way to deal with the fact that the President of the United States suggested, in all seriousness from the White House briefing room, that maybe people should try to ingest disinfectants of some kind, or maybe light, some kind of light that you could get inside the body, because that could work, right? I mean, this will also go down in the record books as the day the vice president said that the coronavirus epidemic would be well and truly behind us by Memorial Day weekend. It'll all be over by then, okay? This will also be remembered in the medical journals as the day the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, had to put out an actual warning about the dangers of an unproven drug that the president and the Fox News Channel have insistently, repeatedly, inexplicably touted as some kind of miracle cure for weeks on end. I mean, ignorance is not a lonely status at the top right now. But do you remember at the beginning of this month, more than 3 weeks ago now, the general sort of shock and astonishment when Georgia Governor Brian Kemp got up in April 2020, the year of our Lord, and he said into a microphone in public that he had just learned that day that people who don't have symptoms can still be infectious with this disease. Yeah, hold the phone. He had no idea before then.
Individuals can be infected and begin to spread coronavirus earlier than previously thought, even if they have no symptoms. From a public health standpoint, this is a revelation and a game changer.
A revelation, a game changer, right? Cue the national laugh track as Georgia's governor announces that he has just learned something that everybody else has known for months, that has been driving the public health response in the richest nation on earth to the deadliest pandemic in a century. Surprise news to him, right? That was April 1st when he said that, which was astonishing. But it turns out Georgia Governor Brian Kemp was actually ahead of the curve on that, because it wasn't until 17 days after that the Trump administration's Secretary of Defense announced that he, too, had just learned that same fact himself. He had just learned it that very day.
What we found of the 600 or so that have been infected, what's disconcerting is a majority of those, 350 plus, are asymptomatic. So it has revealed a new dynamic of this virus that can be carried by normal, healthy people who have no idea whatsoever that they're carrying it. So we're learning a lesson there and making sure that we communicate that to our broader force.
Oh, we are learning a lesson there. Yeah. It turns out a new dynamic of this virus we've just discovered. Turns out people are asymptomatic and they still have this thing. We just learned that. And then I love how he finishes that comment by saying, like, now listen, we're letting everybody in the Navy know this. Because we're pretty sure nobody else had any idea about this, so we better alert everyone. We've newly discovered a fact. That was less than a week ago that the defense secretary said that. He's just figuring it out, which is, disconcerting, given that is the person who President Trump has put in charge of running the, largest military on earth. It's also disconcerting when the whole reason it came up with Secretary Esper is because there really has been an outbreak of more than 850 coronavirus cases among U.S. Navy sailors on board one nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. And where today another deployed U.S. Navy vessel, a deployed vessel, a destroyer called the USS Kidd, emerged as the site of another outbreak at sea with 18 U.S. sailors tested positive so far.